Right now, maybe you have regrets. Maybe you have regrets over a mistake that you made a long time ago, and you feel like it's haunting you. It's haunting you to this day. Maybe you feel like you don't deserve happiness because of that past mistake. Well, I'm here to tell you that you deserve happiness. You also deserve forgiveness. But holding on to your past is not going to do nothing more than just cause you to bring your self-esteem even lower. And it's also going to prevent you from moving ahead towards that happiness that you deserve. What I'm going to do right here, I'm going to act as your guide because I believe you have it in you to get through this and move on with your life. And that's what I'm here for. But first, you have to control your negative thoughts. I like to refer to negative thoughts as an inner critic. All right. Your inner critic is that inner voice that you have in your head that speaks to you subconsciously. And every time you make a mistake in life, then this voice always comes up and it tells you things like you ought to be ashamed of yourself, or you're never going to correct this. They don't like you no more because of this. They're not going to forgive you. And it goes on and on and on. And this inner critic, it can also even come up when you're trying to move on with your life, when you're trying to accomplish a certain goal per se. That's when that voice comes up then. And we all have this voice. We all have this inner critical voice that always speaks to us subconsciously and give us a whole bunch of negative self-talk. Now, when people listen to this voice, when people listen to this inner critic, they listen to this voice telling them that they made a mistake and they'll never fix it. What happens is that when you listen to this voice long enough, you're going to eventually believe what that voice is telling you. You're going to believe all the disempowering beliefs that voice is feeding you over a past mistake. Now, it could be something that happened a long time ago, but that voice is always going to come up. And the more you listen to this voice, the more depressed you're going to feel. And then the more depressed you feel, then it makes it harder for you to get back up again and move on with your life. Now, this voice is something that you do not have to listen to. And there's a couple things that you have to do first. First, in order to control your negative thoughts, in other words, this inner critic, you want to be able to counterattack what that voice is telling you. And one of the best ways to do this is to practice self-forgiveness. All right, self-forgiveness simply means you forgive yourself the same way you forgive somebody else. If you ever had somebody in your life that made a mistake and they came to you and apologized and you forgave that person and you moved on, it doesn't make the mistake that they made okay, but you was willing to forgive that person and then you moved on with your life. I mean, maybe you continue to be friends with that person or maybe you didn't. But either way, you relieve the heavy burden from yourself of anger and frustration with that person. Now, self-forgiveness works exactly the same way. You forgive yourself. You look at yourself and think to yourself that hey, you know what, I made this mistake, but I was in a different mind frame back then. And understand that as well. Understand that you were in a different mind frame, whatever mistake that you made back then. And if you have guilt over that past mistake, then that's the first sign that you're ready to move on, because you can identify that you wasn't the same person back then as you are right now. So once you get in the habit of always practicing self-forgiveness, that helps you relieve that burden. I mean, you can leave that old identity behind. Just leave that behind and fully embrace the new person that you are right now. But when you practice self-forgiveness, again, you're relieving heavy burden for yourself, because I mean, you simply did the best you could for only what you knew at the time. I mean, maybe you were trying to meet certain needs. Matter of fact, you were trying to meet certain needs, because every time we do something in life, it's always to meet a need. So when you understand this, when you have a lot of self-understanding, then it makes forgiving yourself a lot more easier. Now, once you forgive yourself, then you're simply just ready to move on with your life. And understand also, reinforce that you do deserve happiness. I mean, don't let whatever you did in the past prevent you from finding the happiness and the genuine fulfillment that you deserve. I mean, whatever happiness means to you. I mean, happiness could be in any shape and form, but in any case, I mean, you can't get to that unless you're moving on from your past mistakes. And you certainly do deserve happiness. So whatever you did in the past, that was the old you. All right, that was then and this is now. So understand you was in a different frame of mind back then, and also practice self-forgiveness. And then also feel like, repeat to yourself if you have to, that you deserve happiness. You deserve to move on with your life. And the more you do this, you can move on. So leave that past behind. You was a different person back then. You're a new person to this day. All right, so this is all I'm gonna leave for you for tonight. And I want to thank you for watching this video. And if you like this video, just give the thumbs up, like, and please subscribe, because I do put out content on an often basis. So until the next video, I want to wish you an awesome self-esteem, and I will talk to you next time around.